Have you ever felt like 1,000 eyes were on you, even when you were just trying to do something simple? That feeling where the air gets thick and your own heartbeat becomes a drum solo in your ears. This isn't just about stage fright. It's about that deep, primal fear of being judged, of being watched, and ultimately of failing in front of a silent jury. Today, we're diving deep into the psychological horror of the human mind, exploring how a simple task can become an impossible mountain to climb. We'll journey into the story of a man named Miyamoto, trapped on a stage, not by chains, but by the weight of silent expectation. His struggle is a mirror, reflecting our own hidden anxieties and the paralyzing power of our own minds. This is a theatrical descent into madness, where the only monster is the one staring back from the audience of your own self-doubt. Stick with us as we unravel the knot of fear. Imagine a stage, not a grand, opulent one, but small, almost suffocating. The lights are blindingly bright, creating a stark, isolated circle of brilliance in a sea of darkness. In the center of this light stands Miyamoto. He's a man who lives for expression, for the grand gesture, for the theatrical flair. His task is deceptively simple: tie a knot. Just a single simple knot and a length of coarse rope he holds in his hands. But as he looks out, he doesn't see an adoring crowd. He sees ... nothing. Or rather, a sea of faces shrouded in shadow, their features indistinct yet unervingly uniform. They are utterly, completely silent. Not a cough, not a shuffle, not a whisper. The silence is a physical presence, a heavy blanket that smothers all sound except for the ones he creates. He takes a breath, a theatrical inhale meant to project confidence. But the sound of it seems to cannonball through the auditorium, unnaturally loud. He can hear the whisper of his own clothes as he shifts his weight. He lifts the rope. His hands, usually so steady and expressive, feel like foreign objects. He fumbles, the rope slipping through his fingers. He tries again. His fingers tremble. A bead of sweat traces a path down his temple. He can feel it, a cold, slow crawl against his skin. He glances at the audience again. Their faces are like smooth, pale masks, glowing faintly in the gloom. Their eyes are open, unblinking. There is no judgment in their expression, no approval, no anger, no anything. And that's the most terrifying part. Their blankness is a canvas, and Miyamoto's mind is painting it with every fear he's ever had. He can hear his own breathing now, ragged and shallow. It's amplified, a rasping, desperate sound that fills the dead air. The simple rope in his hands feels like a living snake, coiling and resisting his every touch. The fibers are rough against his skin, a sandpaper scrape that seems to echo in the silence. Why is this so hard? It's just a knot. He's done it 1,000 times before without a second thought. But now, under the glare of the spotlight and the weight of those empty stares, his muscles refuse to obey. His mind is screaming instructions, but his body is a mutinous vessel. Each clumsy movement feels like a monumental failure, a public declaration of his incompetence. He tries to focus, to block them out. He looks down at his hands, but the image wavers. The rope seems to stretch and distort. The light is so intense, it burns. He closes his eyes for a second, but all he sees are the afterimages of those pale, expressionless faces, imprinted on the back of his eyelids. The silence presses in, and in that void, his own internal monologue becomes a deafening roar. They're watching. They know you can't do it. You're a fraud, a failure. So simple, and you can't even tie a knot. Look at your hands shake. Pathetic. The voice isn't theirs, it's his. But it feels like it's being broadcast from every corner of the shadowed auditorium. He is both the performer and the heckler, the protagonist and the antagonist of his own waking nightmare. He opens his eyes, a desperate attempt to break the spell. He tries to find a single friendly face, a crack in the wall of apathy. But as his gaze sweeps across the crowd, the world begins to warp. The rows of faces seem to tilt and swim, the features melting and reforming like wax. Their symmetry is unnerving, a perfect inhuman pattern that his mind can't process. The faint glow from their faces intensifies, pulsing in time with the frantic pounding in his chest. The stage feels like it's shrinking, the shadows closing in, the spotlight a tightening noose of light. He's not just on a stage anymore, he's under a microscope. An insect pinned to a board, writhing for an audience that feels nothing. In a last, desperate surge of his theatrical nature, Miyamoto decides to fight back. He will not be defeated by silence. He will not be broken by nothing. He gathers his remaining strength, his body screaming in protest. He will strike a pose, a final defiant gesture of power, of overcoming this suffocating fear. He bends his knees, twists his torso, and throws his arm back, channeling the flamboyant, over-the-top energy he knows so well. It is his armor, his weapon. For a fleeting second, he feels a spark of his old self, the pose of a hero who has conquered the abyss. But the body betrays the will. As he reaches the apex of his dramatic pose, his muscles give out, his legs buckle. The defiant roar in his mind dies into a whimper. His arm, poised for a triumphant gesture, falls limp. The rope slips from his grasp and lands on the stage with a soft, pathetic thud. All the energy drains from him, sucked out into the silent void of the auditorium. He collapses, not gracefully, but in a clumsy, boneless heap. He curls into a fetal position, right in the center of the unforgiving spotlight, his forehead pressed against the hard floorboards. He is overwhelmed, not by criticism or hatred, but by the sheer, crushing weight of observation. The lights beat down. The audience continues to watch, their faces smooth, their stares blank, their silence absolute. The performance is over. What we've just witnessed in Miyamoto's story is an extreme, dramatized version of a feeling many of us know all too well: social anxiety and the fear of judgment. It's that feeling when you in a meeting and you're afraid to speak up, or when you walk into a party and feel like every eye is on you, scrutinizing your every move. Miyamoto's stage is a metaphor for any situation where we feel exposed and evaluated. The silent, blank-faced audience represents our own internal fears. They aren't actively judging him. His own mind is filling in the blanks with the worst possible critiques. This is the insidious nature of anxiety. It turns a neutral environment into a hostile one. It creates monsters in the shadows and convinces us they're real. The key takeaway from this psychodrama is that the most powerful judge is often the one within ourselves. The pressure we feel doesn't always come from the outside world. More often than not, it's a projection of our own insecurities, our own fear of not being good enough. Miyamoto wasn't defeated by the audience. He was defeated by his reaction to them, by the catastrophic story his mind told him. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward breaking free. Understanding that the spotlight is often self-imposed can help us dim its intensity. It's about learning to separate external reality from our internal narrative. If you ever feel like Miyamoto on that stage, remember that it's okay. These feelings are human. If they become overwhelming, please know there are people who want to help. Talking to a therapist or a counselor can give you the tools to reframe these thoughts and manage anxiety. You are not alone in this struggle. The first step to overcoming the silent audience is to find your own voice and ask for support. There is strength in vulnerability. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the psychology of fear. If this story resonated with you, let us know in the comments. What situations make you feel like you're under a spotlight? Sharing our experiences can help us all feel a little less alone in the dark. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content that explores the fascinating complexities of the human mind. Until next time, be kind to yourself.